Okay.
Hey, you guys, good evening, good evening, good evening. I am your host, coach, publisher, transformational speaker, whatever you want to call it. But I am Ebony Nicole Smith, the CEO and founder of Ebony Nicole Smith Consulting LLC, which is a boutique writing and publishing company. I am so excited to have two of my favorite people. I have a lot of favorite people, but I have two of my favorite people on here. Two co authors and also wives, praying wives, are joining me this evening for this edition of Becoming Bold in Your Storytelling. You guys, their stories are going to pull you. Their stories are going to make you sit back and be like, yep, she all in my life. Yes. Okay. Because they are proof that you are not alone in your journey at all. And you're not the only one going through it. You're not the only one that's going to go through it. All you have to do is survive it. Okay. So I want to introduce to some and reintroduce to others Miss Regina McNish and Miss Tiffany L. Lewis. Tiffany, what I can't be Tiffany Lewis English.
English.
So many names. That's because I'm used to calling her Tiffany. So this T thing not working. But I want to thank you ladies both for coming on tonight and taking the time out of your days to chat with me this evening. So, Regina, we are going to start with you. Tell the people who you are and a little bit about your chapter.
Okay. My name is, of course, like you said, Regina McNish. I am a creative author of He Interceded. I also have a ministry which is called We Fight to Tell Stories, which I teach young children how to express themselves through praise dancing and through discipleship. And we equip them to become awesome Christians for the world, for our future.
Mm, awesome Christians. You guys danced at a couple of the events down in Florida.
Yes,
So
we did.
where did that come from? Where did that passion for that dance come from?
Well, as a kid, I used to praise dance. That was my outlet. Like with all of the chaos that was going on at home, I would be at church praise dancing. I would leave my house at 8 in the morning, come back at midnight with my mom watching for me in the window, the church vans coming to drop us off. So it was always my passion to be able to use that as an outlet. And I always told myself as a kid that I wanted to have a dance company. But God
And you did
steered
it.
me in the direction to teach young children about God, to open up that platform for them and
Mm-hmm.
use praise dance as a tool to be able to pull them in and teach them about God.
See, because kids, everyone is different in how they learn, and we got
Hmm.
to speak their language. And
Yeah.
so, for some kids, you can't sit them down and say, if you go to John chapter 2 verse 17,
No,
that's not gonna work.
it's not.
They need more than that, and so they need
Yes,
animation. They need to be able to move around and be able to tell a story with themselves, something that they can understand. I think that's so
definitely,
awesome. That's so
definitely.
awesome. And how long have you been doing it?
Well, this year is going to be our sixth season. So this year is going to make 6 years. To God be the glory. It
Oh
has
my
not been
God.
an easy road. God has opened up the door to bring children in, and some of them, they've excelled out. They come in, they leave, but I know they come in and they leave with something. Each season, God
Yes.
introduced me to new children, to new kids, and I see from the beginning when they come in the change and the improvement and the way they have the passion for God when they
Yeah.
leave. So, yeah, this season, hopefully, to God be the glory. This will be season 6 coming up in September.
And then they're leaving with a knowledge of God, and they're
Yeah,
leaving with a relationship. So as
definitely.
it's the Bible says, teach your child the ways that he should go. So when they get older and want to depart, it's
Yep.
good that you're teaching them now
Yes,
instead of
definitely.
when they're in their late 20s and they have to now debunk everything they learned from the
Definitely.
world.
And,
But if they
and what
start
makes
off
it
with Christ,
That is true. What makes it even more great is I like to say the children are our future now because
yes,
they don't have to wait to become an adult to speak about God, to go out there and be a disciple for God. They don't have to wait to be an adult to do that.
that's
So
right.
I want to equip them not only for the future but for now as well.
For now, for later.
Yes. There you
So they
go.
already up there for now, for later.
Yes.
Knock down laters, I like those.
I
But
used to like them too.
I but here's my thing. So now you're already an author. So
Yes.
you wear many hats. You're
Yes.
already an author, and now you are co-authoring your second book, A Praying Wife in Waiting. I want you to tell people the name of your chapter and a little bit about it without going into too much detail. Because yours is one that they have to read it.
Yes.
It's one of those we can give you a snippet, but the snippet will do it no justice. So I
Yeah.
want you to tell them their chapter in like an overview of that. And if it's too much, I'll be like,
Okay. That'll be your signal. Do like this for me, okay?
I got you.
Okay, my chapter is hiding in honesty, and basically, it the title explains itself because a lot of time us as women we put ourselves in a position where we want to be married, we want to be with this man, we want to please this man, we want this man to get on one knee and propose to us, and we're hiding our truth, we're hiding who we really are. I mean, I've learned that in the bad way, growing up in a relationship because I didn't know what that looked like. I had to be a good girl at home. I had to be a good girl in front of my parents, in front of my boyfriend, in front of my friends. So I grew up with that mindset where I have to hide my truth in order for me to be welcome, or in order for me to be loved or received.
Wow.
So that's what my title is about, hiding in honesty.
Do you
I,
know
mhm.
this girl right here used to hide her truth because one, she didn't know it. Two, what she knew she didn't like. And then three,
Yeah.
she didn't think what she knew that she didn't like, no one else would like it either.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was
Wow.
if people knew, then I use the analogy. If they ever got a stench of what it smelled like, they would run away
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, because of it was so ugly. It was like I can't share this. I would
Yep.
be a disgrace. I would look bad. Who would want to be with me? So I think it's important for us to be able to come in with our truth, and because if you can't accept me for who I really am, then there's no reason for us to be together.
That's
If
right.
if
That's
I'm
right.
not ready to present who I really am, then I don't need to be your wife. I don't.
Ooh,
I'm not ready to be your wife.
that's right. That is right. Because here's the thing: if we can't be ourselves, then if I can't be who I am with you now, then later you're not gonna know who I am because I can't keep up this facade forever.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
when it comes to dating, we send out our representatives.
Exactly. That good resume.
That good one. But we don't leave out the fact that we got fired twice. We don't say that. We don't
Yes.
say how all of the reprimands we got before we got fired.
Yep. How many
No, we
times
don't
you
put that
showed
in
up
our
late?
right. We don't put that in our resume that we were late 30 an hour minute hour late and then call.
Yeah.
We don't say that stuff in our resume. We put the good things. Oh, I got an award for being the best at this.
Yes.
I was acknowledged for that. So when it
Exactly.
comes to dating, it's the same way. What if instead of sending out our representatives, we sent ourselves? Like this is
Yep.
me.
This is me.
How easy would it be to date then? Because then you're not like showing me the best of you. Show me who you are. Like that's who I want to date. Let me decide from who you are now if you're someone I want to be with. If I want to take this
Exactly.
chance, take this risk, take this path with you. But you see a representative, then I'm like, then I let you into the corporate office. And I'm like, well, that's not what you put on your resume. You said you're a go-getter. We gotta
Hmm.
coax you into working.
Yep.
What is happening here?
Yep.
Oh goodness.
Where's the
So
person that's on that resume versus the person that's standing in front of me?
exactly. Exactly. And that is where it comes to knowing who you are and being safe and secure in that. Because
Hmm.
once you know who you are, then it doesn't matter what people think of you because this is who I am. And if God wants me to change it, he'll do it. He'll just go in and be like, yeah, I'm taking this out, or I'm putting this in, putting that in. Let him do that work. But yeah. Oh, and you said something that about not being able to share who you are. What was that like for you?
It was hard because from 9 to 5, I would be in a position where I'm crying or I'm depressed or I'm thinking about my past and thinking about, okay, how I'm gonna go home and hide this again today. How am I gonna go home and put on that smiley face or put on that nice lingerie and get on the stove and cook and be this beautiful woman that you met versus the woman that's already in my mind and in my heart
Yeah.
that I'm hurting. So it was very hard. It's like you're carrying such a big load and you're afraid, you're walking in fear because you don't know if this person will stick around if they find out or maybe hear it from somebody else, or if they'll walk away because they don't want to be with that person that you're holding inside.
So it's a juggling act. You're
It is.
juggling your truth and you're juggling your dishonesty.
Mhm.
It's how that had to be. It's hard trying to bring all my groceries in the house. Like, because sometimes I want to make one trip, right? So you
Yeah.
grab it all you can in one hand, in the other hand you got your purse or your wallet, and you got your whatever, your keys.
And
Some
imagine if you have a dozen of eggs with you.
the eggs and bread, and you got something glass in your hand. What do you? Something is tipping. Everything is swallowing over. What do you decide to let fall, and what do you decide to hold on to? So for you, when everything was tipping, how did you decide to hold on to your truth versus the falsities that you were presenting?
Well, if you hold on to it too long, it'll seep out. So
Mm-hmm.
even if it's in your actions, even if it's in your the way you speak, the way you act, I began to remove myself. I began to separate myself. I wouldn't let him touch me because there are certain ways that he touched. I don't know if I can, remember. Give me the cue. There were certain ways that he touched me. It reminded me of my molestation. There are
Yeah.
certain things that he would say. It reminded me of the verbal abuse that my ex-boyfriend gave me because he felt that I was insecure. So little things began to seep out because I wear my emotions on my sleeve. So
Yeah.
so he began to see it and he began to drill and ask, and I would still sugarcoat it because if he knows, he may leave, and I'm in love with you. I know I
Right.
love the way you treat me. I've never found this type of treatment before. So now if I introduce you to her, quote unquote, I won't get that love anymore. I won't feel like you see me
Yeah.
the same way anymore.
Cause he loved the false. He loved the representative. He loved that
Yeah.
resume. Whereas
Yes.
the employee was like, so I'm here to work, and you're like, wait a minute, it's not a
Exactly.
resume. Yeah, I left that out.
Exactly.
What is one thing that you can say to a woman who is trying to balance her reality, her true self versus her falsities that she's presenting, and not how to balance it where she can keep it, but what can she do to let that falsity go and hold on to her who she really is? What can you say to encourage her, like, choose one and stay true to it, but you would want her to choose her true self? What would you say to her?
Well, I wouldn't say choose one and stay true to it because I know the woman I introduced him to was who I wanted to be because I didn't want to be that woman in the
Oh.
past. I stopped doing a lot of things. I stopped partying, I stopped clubbing, I stopped doing drugs, I stopped doing a lot of things. And I love that woman, but because I kept all of that inside, that's what hindered me to continue to walk in that light that I am today. But I would tell somebody who's watching or listening today, take a good look in the mirror. Not just look at your features, not just look at, I have a beautiful nose, or I love my lips, or I love my eyes, or I love the way my face beat. Take a good look in the mirror. After you see all of the surface stuff, the other things start coming up.
Oh,
Take a
look
good look in
past
the
all
mirror.
that.
Yes, take your time and take a good look in the mirror. Talk to that person, talk to her, and let her know you're ready. You're ready to free yourself from all of that past hurt, everything that's hindering you to be the real true beauty inside and out.
Yes. So
Because I remember days
look.
I would be home and I would look myself in the mirror and he's in the other room and I'm just staring at myself and I see the beauty that he sees. I see the heart that he feels. I feel that. But because I was so engulfed with so much hate that I tried so hard to hide it. Okay, I stare myself in the mirror. Okay, you done pull that out, all of that out. Now it's time to stuff it back in. It's time to walk out this
Mm,
bathroom and show the beauty that you introduced. And for a
mm.
long time, I kept doing that, and it brought so much friction in our relationship.
Look in the mirror.
Look in the
Look
mirror.
past this surface and
Yep.
all the way in. And the
Yep.
more you look in, you'll see up in here and in here. And that's when you can definitely make that change.
Amen.
Honey, Miss
Wow.
Tiffany,
Yes,
Hunty,
coach.
I want you to tell
Listen.
everybody who you are and about your chapter. Again, not too much, but just enough.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. So I am Tiffany Lewis English. I am author of Speak Life 31 Day Affirmation Journal for women dealing with infertility and infant loss.
Mhm.
And I am the CEO and founder of Grace of Hannah, infertility support for women who are battling infertility. And my chapter is titled Allow Him to Lead.
Wow.
Listen, I struggled, y'all. I struggled because, for one, we've always, as women, have been raised and taught to be independent and to be
Yep.
strong.
Yep.
And I did that. Before I got married, I was already a nurse. And so I was used to handling things on my own. I would
Mm-hmm.
find myself saying, oh, I have to take care of this or I have to take care of that early on in marriage. So, I mean, I've only been married 3 years, so it's still pretty early, but I had to adjust. And I just recently kind of learned how to adjust. And Bishop had a conversation with us, and he taught me that it is no longer I. It is we, us, and ours.
Ooh,
And it was just so hard for
that's
me.
a
I
shift.
mean, it's still kind of hard for me because I've been used to managing my own bank account and I've been used to paying my own bills, and I will be kind of lax sometimes, and my husband would be the better with the finances and he's better at saving. And so I had an issue with turning over my money to be like, okay, you manage this because you're better at it. Because in my mind, it was like, no, honey, I worked them 16 hours on my feet. I'm gonna manage this money the way I want to manage it. But that's what happens when you get married. I
Yeah.
literally had to learn it wasn't just me anymore. It was
Mm.
it was us, and we had
Right.
to pull together. One thing that I noticed too is that once I got married and I started to try to allow him to be the head and allow him to lead, I would then question, like, well, did you pray today? Did you talk to God
Oh.
today? Did you ask him to lead us? Did you submit to him so I can submit to you?
So you question
Which
his
is something that
leadership.
I questioned his leadership. I
Mm.
questioned his leadership based off of actions, which is probably something that I should have been doing prior to marriage, but we're here now. And so I have to be able to say, okay, listen, God, I prayed. You told me that this was my husband. And so I have to be able to trust the process and allow him to lead. And that's just
Mm.
something to this day that, like I said, I still struggle with. I can catch myself and I'm a little bit better than I was in the beginning. But there was
Yeah.
one point where I was like, yeah, none of that.
And so
Uh-uh.
was it your independence, being independent for so long, was that what kept you from allowing him to be the head of your household?
it it was. So when my husband and I first started dating, he didn't. I knew that he always had a spiritual background because of the family that he came from. So he knew the Lord. He knew the way. It's just that when we started dating, he did not have a church home, and I did. And so for a minute, it was just like, okay, I'm independent. And so I got this. And then I struggled a little bit with the fact that he didn't have a church home. And so to me, just my own personal thing was, okay, well, if he doesn't have a church home,
Oh, I think
Oh,
we lost her.
we lost her. Oh,
Oh,
there
we
she.
lost you to for a minute.
you know,
And I think you're freezing too.
not knowing,
I don't think she heard me.
am I freezing?
Yeah, we lost you, and then now you were freezing.
Okay, how about now?
Okay, you're good. You're good.
Okay. And so because I was, I had a church home and I was active in my church, I just felt like, I was to lead us, knowing that that is not what the Bible says,
All because you
knowing
had
that
a
that
home
wasn't,
church. You trying to be the
because
head.
I mean, come on, I had the home church. I was the one waking up in the middle of the night talking about, we about to pray and talk to Jesus. He wasn't waking me up saying, come on, we need to pray to God. It wasn't me. So I felt like, bruh, I'm about to lead us. I'm about to lead you back to Christ. I'm about to lead you to the water and you gonna drink.
No,
So
I'm
that
not.
was
The
when,
reason why I'm laughing is because the having a home is like having a because you got a church. So that was I think oh, did we lose her
I
again?
think so.
It might be her internet, but I would say I think that
you,
yeah, we're losing you. You're completely gone from the screen. But I'm gonna work that out. If you have to log
are you
off, then
serious?
then hop back on. That'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay. So Tiffany's gonna hop back on. But I'm gonna say, as a single woman, I've been single for 8 years now. And so I get what when she was saying how she's independent and she used to doing her own thing with her money, used to having whatever she want to go, you come, you do your own thing. How for you since you're on here and hopefully she'll hop back on. What how can one prepare to let go of her independence? Because I want to be still be independent of my own thought, be independent of things that I still desire and want out of life, and still obtain those things. But I think it's difficult if you've been independent and single for so long to now let go and say, okay, oh, you know what? Never mind. Because the Lord just said, if you submit to me fully, it will not be difficult. So never mind, don't answer. Because I got some work to do. Good Lord Jesus.
You got a revelation.
And it just like literally for real just now. So he just
Wow.
called me out. I need to fully, yeah, never mind.
I mean, it's not
Oh,
easy for
hold
you
on, let
to
me
do
add her
so.
back.
Okay. It's
Okay.
not easy for you to do so, but at the end of the day, it feels good. And
Yeah.
I'm sure Tiffany can relate to that. Sometimes it feels good not to worry about, the rent or worry about the mortgage because you know your husband got it. Sometimes it feels good
Right.
to know. I used to take out the trash in my own apartment all the time, but it feels good to know that I don't even have to say, honey, take out the trash.
He
It's
already
already
Right.
knows.
out.
Yeah.
It feels good. Not being even as being independent, it's still something that's within you. There's nothing he can't take that away from you because
Yeah.
you're married.
Right.
But
Right.
it's just sharing that independent. It's just sharing it. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Okay. Good, good, good,
It's
good.
definitely beautiful, but it's an adjustment.
It is
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
It's when you're so I lived on my own before my husband and I got together. So I
Hmm.
literally was like, the keeper of my home. So when we got married and he came in, not gonna sugarcoat, we lived together for a year before we got married. And so
Mm-hmm.
it was like, okay, yeah, he's here. He's doing those things. Like he is the better cook than me. So he does all of the cooking. And I'm thankful and grateful for that. He does the grocery shopping. Things that I don't like to do, he loves to do.
Okay, that's
But
perfect
it was just
balance.
right. But
Exactly.
it was just
Somebody got
still
to
a
do it.
struggle. Right. It was just still a struggle to allow him to lead and to get out of that whole, oh, this is mine. I've created this, I went to school and I worked hard and I, took my boards as many times as I needed to take them to pass them and I can take care of me. It was just it was really hard to allow him to just kind of come in and kind of rearrange all of that. I'm
Mm.
grateful for it, but then
Mhm.
I still, it was hard. It was an adjustment for me.
So what would you say? Because we got a few minutes late, but we can always go over. But what would you say to a woman who is now? I was saying, like, for me, I was asking when you had to you had to log back in.
Uh-huh.
I was saying, for me as a single woman for 8 years, it's like, okay, bruh, you want to come in? I got my own house. This stuff is all established. I'm here, and God was saying to me, He said, I was gonna ask Regina, like, how does one prepare to let her husband lead? When God said to me, I didn't even have to ask her to answer, because God said, if you fully submit to me, then it will not be hard.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, Lord, thanks. But
Right.
what would you say to a woman who, because I'll be honest, I got some praying to do. I have some work to do now that He has revealed this to me. What would you say to a woman who is not at a place where she's ready to submit completely to God? What would you say to her to move her in that direction? Because I know how to. I know what work I got to do, clearly.
So
But
you
what would you say
said,
to a woman who doesn't?
okay, so repeat your question.
Yep. What would you say to a woman who needs to learn how to submit to God first and let God be the head of her life and her because God is over everything that we do, but
Right.
we do have our own free will to with choice to do or not.
Right.
Even we handle those consequences thereof. But if what would you say to a woman who needs to get to that place where she needs to allow her husband to be the head? What would you say to her? What's one piece of advice you would give her? Even
So
a married woman.
my one piece of advice would be to, like, completely, you have to submit to God first before you can submit to your husband. And that
Mm-hmm.
was probably where I made my biggest mistake. I was in church, I was going to church, but I still had some issues with submitting to the things that God told me. I
Ooh, you
stayed in a
better
lot of
come with the truth.
relationships. I stayed in a lot of relationships or a lot of friendships or a lot of places that I knew God was clearly telling me were not for me, but I was doing what
Mm,
Tiffany wanted to do. And
wow.
so even in my marriage, there were some things that God was showing me, a couple red flags that I kind of just swept under the rug or whatever. I would just say, if you submit to God completely, you will have no issue allowing your husband to lead.
Yeah.
Because you're going to
Yeah. Yeah.
already know, for one, my husband got a connection. He
Yep.
hear from God. So even if I don't see him praying, I know that he's doing it.
Yep.
You won't have to question it. I would just say, get in the face of God, submit to him, and he's going to let you know once, yes, that's your husband. And then you're never going to have to second guess or wonder about allowing him to lead, because you just gonna already know.
He'll
Amen.
already know. Cause
Yep.
what did you say, Regina?
I say amen.
Oh, amen. Yes. Cause
Amen.
that is, I think. Okay. So, Amir said it's hard, especially if you're independent and slightly stubborn and set in your ways.
That is true. Because that is
Yeah.
me. You're a Scorpio. So you get it. You get it. Regina,
I could
are
be
you
a
a
little.
Scorpio too?
No, unfortunately, I'm not.
Oh,
I don't think I'm stubborn. Am I stubborn? I don't
Coach,
think I am.
you definitely got some stubbornness in you. You got a little bit.
I could maybe. I
That's
know
a,
I ask a lot of questions. I'm getting to a place in God with Amanda. Oh, hi Amanda. What I'm striving to get into a better place with God, where if He says go left, I'm like, I just turn left. Even if when I turn left it's a brick wall. But
Right.
I don't know that He already got dynamite set to explode and that wall can be flattened real quick for me to continue. But he said go left, and I'm like, well, Lord, before I even turn left, I'm looking, it's a brick wall over there, God. I know you're not telling me to go to this brick wall.
Mm.
How so? And I say this because when it comes to submitting to God, we got to really get out of our head in that thought of
Yes.
submission and what that actually looks like and what that means.
yep.
I had When it comes to that, we can't look at the worldly view of submission. We got to look
Right.
at the godly view of what that means, what that looks like. And the only way to come about that is like you said, be in his face, seek him, submit to him.
Yes.
And I think once we do that, then when the husband comes in as single women, and even as married women who are not yet submitting completely to their husbands, seek God and say, Lord, I'm having submission issues. I need you to help me. And even if, and not question, because you said you was questioning your husband, you know, did you pray about this morning? And he's like, well, you don't trust me that I prayed? Like,
he like, dang, can you chill? Like, hold on. I'm like, I ain't see you pray. I ain't see you pick up your Bible. But it's not for me to have to see, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
Some
one
stuff is
thing
just
that,
private.
if I can share, what I add to my life is, you know what? It's three of us in a relationship. It's God, it's my husband, then it's myself.
That's
Once
right.
God go out the picture, we're done. There's no more us without God. So with that in mind, with that in mind, it doesn't matter if I see you pray. It doesn't matter. You know, I just know. And growing up, I always had a relationship with God, whether I was in sin, whether I was doing whatever I was doing.
Right.
I was always conversing with God. I was always
Mm-hmm.
talking to God. And sometimes people be like, who you talking to like that? Like, girl, I'm talking to God, you know?
Right.
So I always keep in mind that it's three of us in a relationship.
That's
No
right.
matter how you look at it, no matter how you feel, no matter how he makes you feel. Because
Right.
trust me, there's some days I'll be like, Lord Jesus, give me the patience. I know you brought him in my life. And I remember distinctively, I asked God, you know, because I didn't grow up with love for men. I hated men. I hated them with a passion. And I asked God, what do I do? How do I love him? And I will never forget.
How
God
do
said,
I
love
love
him.
him?
How do I love him? God said, love him like I love you. When you was sinning in the
That's
world,
deep.
I still loved you. When you was doing all kinds of stuff you ain't had no business doing, I still loved you. So
Oh
love
my
him like I
God.
love you. And every
Yes.
time I feel some type of way, that comes to my mind. And God just replays it. Love him like I love you. That's all I need you to do. Trust. God says, trust me and love him.
Oh my God.
Listen.
That's a whole word, because he said
Right.
wives love your husband. No,
Yep.
wives respect your husband.
Yep.
And husbands love your wife like the church.
Yep.
Yep.
But he still wants you to love him
Yep.
like he
Love him.
wives.
God said, trust me, Regina, and love him. I got the rest.
Mm,
That's deep.
he got the rest. Do y'all
Yeah.
know it's not hard to love people. It's hard to like people.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't like everybody.
Right.
I mean, I don't like everybody, but I love everybody, and I try my best to express that love.
Yeah.
But if I don't like you, I can still love you, but
Right.
I don't even like you at this moment. So this
Right.
yeah. But I think when it comes to marriage, how you said it's three of you, that reminds you of the scripture that a threefold cord is not easily broken.
Looking, yeah.
And when God is removed from that cord, it can be easily broken.
Looking.
Yes.
So then we have to think, who stepped out of this threefold cord? Was it
Right.
Mm-hmm.
me? Was it him? Was it God?
Yep.
Or did we not? Or did we move to another level and did not bring God with us? But
Not acknowledge God is
yeah,
with it.
acknowledge him. What
Mm-hmm.
Right.
happened?
Yeah.
What happened? So I think for me as a single woman, I know there's still work to be done. I know that he's going to do work when in the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to be open and ready for it, and not be like, "This is not what I signed up for." With that resume, let's put that application. You
Listen.
said you're
Listen,
a great communicator. That was a lie.
that was a lie. We need to work on that. Back to training.
Right.
Oh,
Let's go back to the basics. Let's start all over
Exactly.
again and see.
Listen, I'm sending you back to training, back to your
Right.
for
30
real.
days.
Seriously. We're going to send you back to training for like 20 minutes. No, we're going to give you some time for training because that ain't it. Oh, goodness. So Felicia says strong women in leadership and or management roles tend to have a hard time submitting at home and to God.
I
Wow.
agree. I
Wow.
agree.
How's like with
100%.
because you are in management.
Yes.
You are in
Yes.
management. Okay. So that is it. Why is that? Why is that?
I think it's just like you're used to being in charge. You're used to kind of setting assignments, telling people where to go, what to do, training them. I mean, because that's your job. Like, that's my job as a director, to put people into their, proper places, train them where they feel, where I feel like they need some, extra training, extra improvement. And sometimes when you come home, it's completely hard to turn that off. And even with like
Mm.
praying, sometimes I have to check myself, like, girl, who you talking to? Like, you talking to God, and I'm saying to God, like, God, I need you to, and not in like, oh God, I need you to, work on me. I'm saying like, oh no, God, I need you to work on this. Just being
Oh,
like I'm
so
leading
Like you
him.
managing God.
yes,
Right.
thank you. Okay, God.
Listen.
So at 10:12, I need you to drop this blessing immediately. And at 8:05 p.m., I need you to do this, and do
Right.
not be late. Like so, you try to manage
Right.
God. That's funny.
I'm serious. Even like I found myself when I was praying for like, letting God know like that I'm ready to be a mom or whatever. I would find myself like, come on, God, now I'm about to be 38 in November. Like, we're gonna need this process to move a little bit quicker. And so even when Regina came on tonight and she was talking to me, not even knowing that she was ministering to me, like, listen,
Yeah,
it's all
yeah,
in God's timing. You
that's
gotta
Mhm.
right.
submit to him. He's going
Yep,
to bring it when you're ready. Just because I think I'm ready don't necessarily mean that I am.
yep.
So I got to
That whole
chill out a
part.
little bit, But that just all goes back to being in the position that I'm in at work. It is definitely hard to switch up the roles once I come home, and then even with how I pray slash talk to God sometimes.
Wow, wow. I didn't even see the correlation in that.
Me
Thank you
neither
for
until it
saying
was brought
that,
up.
Felicia, Dr. Felicia. She's an
Yeah.
awesome woman. She was on last week. Thank you so much for that. Dr. Felicia is also one of the co-authors as well. I, ju- I just didn't see that. Like, I've always thought, you go out in the world, this boss and, boss lady, Miss CEO. But then when I come in the house, I'm wife.
Right,
Like that's it now. Like I
right,
just sat in the boardroom with 20 people, and now
right.
I'm wife, and I can lead this team, but now I have to let you lead me. I don't want
Yep.
to relinquish my power. Like so, I think it definitely have to be a balancing act and a
Yes.
place where you get to okay, I'm still independent. I'm still this strong woman, but he let him be stronger than me and let my
Yeah.
independence be okay or be strong enough to say, okay, let him handle it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's gonna,
It's okay. It's okay. Like my mom taught me how to change a tire. My mom taught me how to take care of my car when needed. If my husband is not here, I got it. I'm gonna hold it down. But if
Right.
he's here, I'm gonna set that aside and say, "Honey, can you check the car for me? The tire needs some air, you know."
that's
But if
Right.
right.
he's not around, my independence is gonna step in, and I'm gonna change
Right.
that tire. I'm gonna get on my knees and I'm gonna change my tire. You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? So it's okay. I mean, being independent is beautiful,
Yeah.
especially as women. I think growing up, that as black women, growing up, that's like our everything. You can't take that away from us, you know. And
Right.
and as
Right.
hard as it seems, I think it's beautiful that you can be independent, but I also think it's beautiful that God blesses you with a partner. God blesses you with that right hand man that'll say, you know what, baby, sit down. I got it for you. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Right.
Yeah. But would you let him? That's a question that I
It's
have
hard. It's
for
not
me.
like
Like,
Tiffany
okay,
said. It's not.
I'll take care of it. Okay. Like right now, because it need to be done right now. But in his
Right.
mind, I'm gonna take care of it because it's you may think it needs to be done immediately, but he's like, well, if it's due, what time is if it's due by 9, it's 8:10. I
Oh my
still got
goodness.
40 minutes before this is
Get out of
due.
my house. Get out of my house.
Listen, that, and I'd be like, no, it got to be done right now. Like, it needs to be done. And he'll be like the oil tank. He'll be like, oh, it got a couple bit more miles. Bruh, listen, my fear is the engine might blow. So I'm going to need you to go take it off right
Yes.
now, or I'm going to do it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It's good to talk to other wives and other women because I'm like, Ebony, you been
Goodness,
in my house?
Johnny,
Right.
because that's what I'm thinking. Like, okay, it's due at 9 o'clock. It's 9:11. I mean, it's 10. It's 8:11.
Oh, baby, we got time. I'm gonna take care of
You ain't moved yet.
Right.
Then I think with that, I have to trust his timing. Like I
Yes.
trust his timing.
it.
So if I said, honey, this has to be done by 9, I just have to trust. And he said, I got it. I have to just trust that he knows how important this is to be done by 9, and he's gonna make it happen.
Hmm.
Right.
I guess, yep. Yeah, we're gonna work on that. We're
It's
gonna
a
work
work
on
in
that.
progress. It
It
is.
is.
Single,
So
married, early marriage, old marriage, long marriage. It's a work in progress. I don't care who you are. It's always going to be that uphill battle when it comes to that. Because I'll get up like it's 8:55. You ain't get up yet. I'm gonna go do it myself.
that's
Right.
right. They give him the opportunity, like, I got 5 minutes. No, it starts at 9. Like it needs to be done by 9. You have actually 4 minutes, not 5.
Right.
Mhm.
But but Amir, which is Amanda, says, yes, my position at work flows into my personal life. I'm an investigator and I find myself interrogating guys I dated in the past.
Wow.
What questions you
I can see.
asked?
Yeah.
Like,
I would definitely be like interrogating somebody too, like asking 1,001 questions. Let me see if there's
yeah.
some loopholes.
Yep. Let's run that background check. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Foolish,
Yes.
foolish, foolish. Oh goodness. Hi everybody that just hopped on. Thank y'all so much. We are about to wrap it up. We're 12 minutes over, but I love chatting with these ladies, so it happens. But we are the co-authors of a Praying Wife in Waiting anthology, which is going to be released in September.
Yes.
Excited. All three of us are already authors. So, Regina, I want you to tell everyone where they can purchase your existing book, the name of that as well, and where they can purchase your books is what I'm saying.
Okay. You can find me at reginamcnish.com. You can find out more information about my first book, which is He Interceded. It's basically just an unriveting timeline of my life, sharing the story of my life. I know I may not look that interesting, but trust me, you would want to read this book.
Yes.
And that, yeah, because and they
Yes.
definitely want to get the book and read your chapter.
Yes,
Yes.
you definitely want to get a
Definitely
praying
do.
wife in waiting. When Ebony, brought introduced this to me, I was like, yes, 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 and more yes.
Just pour it
And
out,
then
pour it out.
with the and then the other women that you have are amazing women of God. And I know that, it's going to be something that you just have to pick up and you won't
Yes,
put down.
that's
So
right.
also you can find that on reginamcnish.com. And, when you read the book, just go in there and look in for my page, my my chapter and
Yeah.
comment. You can find me at Regina McNish on Facebook, Regina McNish on all of the social media platforms.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And Miss English, tell
Hey,
people
hey,
you
hey.
already mentioned your first book, but tell everybody where they can get a copy of your first book and pre-order the new one.
Okay. You can get a copy of Speak Life on Amazon.com, or you can get a copy of Speak Life 31-Day Affirmation Journal for Women Dealing with Infertility and Infant Loss, as well as a Praying Wife in Waiting at graceofhannah.square.site.
Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies. So
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you're
you.
welcome. The Lord spoke to me today. I thought I was submitted to him, but clearly,
Me too.
Okay,
some,
prophetess.
uh,
Okay, prophetess.
Lord Jesus, he
Right.
gave me some work. I didn't think we was gonna have this moment today, Lord. He could have did this when I was
Yes.
washing dishes, because he did some talking when I was washing dishes. So we just gonna continue our conversation, okay? But I just thank God for all of you, all of the 18 women who joined this project, and I see a few other women that are part of the project are jumping on as well. Pastor Deborah, Mary Ann as well. They are also co-authors of this book. I want to tell people you are really getting some meat. You are going to be full when you close that book. I'm going to bet, because when I was reading them, one I read today by M. Denise Simmons, and she wanted to talk about a chapter. She was like, Coach, what did you think? I said, honey, you were all up in my late teens, mid 20s, all up in my life. Okay.
Wow.
When I tell you, you will be able to connect with these women, it's going to happen. You will find yourself highlighting, yes, Lord, she know me. Who told her my story? And it's just, it'll be proof and confirmation that we know our life is not our own. It's not, we don't go through things just for ourselves. We go through them to pull somebody else through, to show
Amen.
them
Say
that
it
this
again.
is possible. It's
Say it
possible
Yes.
to
again.
survive that
Amen.
thing. It's possible to be a conqueror over that thing. And so I say this, even if you're not praying to be a wife, okay? Because not every woman wants to be a wife.
Right.
But if you are, and if you're honest with yourself, you've had some damage done to you in the past and you're still holding on to it, get a copy of this book. You deserve your healing, not to be healed for the purpose of marriage or for the preparation of a husband to come, but you deserve your healing for
Amen.
you and for God. I remember he said to me back in 2017, he said, and God can handle anything, but he said to me, I cannot handle a bitter heart.
Wow.
Let me be who I am. Let me work. And from that
Wow.
moment, I threw my hands up and said, go ahead, God, do you.
Mhm.
My bad. Go ahead. And he did a good
Right.
thing with my heart.
Amen.
So I'm going to encourage every single and married woman of God. If you know, honey, that you have some work that needs to be done, do not be afraid to allow God to do it, and then get the book to see for sure you're not alone. You will,
Amen.
with 18 women writing, 19 rather, myself included, 19 women writing, somebody's going to talk to you.
Mhm.
Right.
Somebody's going to say something that's going to resonate. Don't let this slip by. Do not let it slip by. You can go to Regina's website, to Tiff's website as well as to mine, ebonynicolesmith.com, to pre-order your copy. Do not let this slip by. I'm telling you, telling you, telling you. The women who are wives, like these two women, and like some of the actually the other three women are on here, they have a combined over 100 years of marriage experience.
Wow.
When I tell you,
Wow.
we're not playing. Over
Right.
100 years of marriage experience. You're going to get what you need in the book. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. Well, that is all that we have. Ladies, again, I thank y'all so much. And we have so many things coming on. I'm telling you, we book tour next year. Just put that on your calendar. That's gonna come down. We're gonna do
I'm
some book
in.
tours.
Count me in.
Um, listen, I'm already like, yes. I was talking to Denise about it. She's like, do this, this, that, and the third. I was like, sis, say no more. So we
Right.
have so much coming down with the Praying Wives in Waiting. A Facebook group is going to be launching on Monday, so you guys will be able to join that as well, because we want to give women a safe space to just be, no male bashing, but whatever you're going through in your singleness, let's talk. Okay. And we have a couple of experts in there, relationship experts that'll be in there as well. So with that, thank you all for joining Becoming Bold in Your Storytelling, the Praying Wife in Waiting edition. I am Ebony Nicole Smith, and I thank you so much for joining this evening. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Mwah.